Last week in Kenya, 400 people injured, 80 people seriously wounded, and 61 people arrested. One agency estimates around 16 people dead. Some bloggers are saying 100 to over 100 people have been presumed as dead and many missing after protests in Kenya. Welcome to the Intelligence Report. My name's Dr. Joseph Opare. I'd like you to like and subscribe. Go right down below and like and subscribe. So, what's going on? So last year, 60 young people were killed as they were rioting and protests were going on under the government of William Ruto. Now, what we've found out is that last month, in the month of June, a social media blogger that went by the name of Albert Ojwang died in police custody after the Kenyan police chief accused him of defamation. And so now the youth have gone out in protest pertaining to what took place last year. And the police have responded using tear gas, water cannons, and live rounds. Yes, I said live rounds. In other words, they changed their rubber bullets and blanks, whatever they were using, and put in live rounds and have shot at people.
We have told the police, anyone who attempts to go to a police station to attack, shoot them.
These words from Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen shocked and outraged many Kenyans. Murkomen was reacting to protests that turned violent on Wednesday.
A person who attempts to throw a stone at a police to try and kill them, we will not sympathize.
Those who were killed had gunshot wounds. Many others were injured, some of them police officers.
Wow. So what is all this about? Well, William Ruto and Kenya have been a part of the NATO alliance for a while. Kenya has been a non-NATO ally since 2024. And what we need to understand is the young people in Kenya and most of the people in Kenya are upset because of the exorbitant taxes that they're paying, which seem to be disproportionate in comparison between the super rich and the middle class and the poor, which are suffering greatly at the rates of tax, whilst the super rich seem to be getting away with paying less, not necessarily on income tax, but they're getting tax reliefs on things such as insurance and in other areas. And there are also what we can call tax avoidance schemes that are going on. So the super rich are making their money back from all manner of tax avoidance. Now, William Ruto, the reason why the young people out there in Kenya are also upset is he's been involved over the years in a lot of alleged scandals pertaining to lavish spending, gold smuggling, fake fertilizer, sugar, foreign deals with oil. These are all alleged things. Land disputes, and so on and so forth. And every time the cases go to court, including a case that he had with the ICC, the cases seem to be squashed, or he seems to get away with everything that comes against him. And so the young people are tired of this government. Prior to him was the Kenyatta government. And if you know anything about the name Kenyatta, we can go all the way back to Jomo Kenyatta, who fought for the independence of Kenya. And so we find Ruto being a disciple of Uhuru Kenyatta, continuing the legacy in a different way and manner. And we don't know if behind the scenes Uhuru Kenyatta is still pulling the strings somewhat, but we do know that because Kenya is a non-NATO ally, the NATO countries are definitely still pulling the strings, because even though the United Kingdom had its mining contracts cancelled in 2018, we have Australia right in there with the rare earth minerals that Kenya has, mining all the rare earth minerals. So really, it's more of the same. See, what we've got to understand is the situation in Togo is more obvious. Why? Because the French like to boast about what they do. And it's easy if you go online and you do a couple of searches here and there, you can connect this to that and this to that just by looking at old news. But when it comes to the British, especially the British, they are very careful in what they do and try not to leave traces of what they do. That doesn't mean that they're not involved in what is going on the ground in Kenya. We need to understand that Kenya is, I believe, part of the Commonwealth of the UK and continues to be part of NATO, and so is part of the fight at the moment that there is on the earth in World War III to establish who takes which side in Africa. And so Kenya, we've got to understand, is part of that larger fight in World War III to see which side certain countries in Africa with resources, especially rare earth minerals, which side they will take. We have the Chinese in Tanzania and in other countries in East Africa. And we have on the other side certain countries such as Kenya on the other side with NATO. And so the battle is taking place on the continent to establish who goes where and who stays non-aligned. And so although there's peace in countries such as Ghana, things are very quiet here, we have certain countries that have become battlegrounds. And if you think you're safe in the West and that all of this is not coming to you, you need to understand that there is also and has been a militarization of the police forces around the world. If I go back some years, won't say how long, but I remember the days where the police never used to wear these bulletproof vests and dress like soldiers. They just used to come out in their uniforms and wear their hats and walk on the street. But now, when you see the police of today, they're wearing all these different vests and so on and so forth. And you would say that they're doing this to protect themselves. There were criminals then, and there's criminals now, but there seems to be a militarization of the police forces. Now, in speaking of the militarization of police forces, if you notice back in the day, there was an incident with George Floyd, where a police officer put his knee on the neck of this young man and basically suffocated him to death. And this tactic is something that was taught by the Zionist regime. And why am I saying this? I'm saying this because there was some training given to certain police forces in the United States that came out of the state of Israel. Now, you would think that that training just went to the United States. But I've got news for you. That training also went into a country like Kenya. Yes, Kenya has had training from Mossad in Israel, meaning that the Zionists have also infiltrated Kenya, and for whatever interest they have in that nation, have also cooperated with those that are of NATO in order to keep a stranglehold on that country. And so the militarization that we're seeing of the police forces around the world is to make sure that the masses are kept under control. So for instance, in London, when Boris Johnson was mayor, he purchased water cannons. And what do we see in Kenya being used on the street? Also, water cannons. Water cannons being used on people, the pressure of which could take out your eyes or knock you down. And so these are being used on the street, military deterrents being used on the street to fight against the Kenyan youth. Live rounds and tear gas being used on the youth indiscriminately, even to the point where a CNN reporter was complaining that the Kenyan police were also attacking him whilst he was doing his journalistic duties.
Masking their plates, are on the streets applying excessive force on largely peaceful protesters. And then, as we were just speaking, as they're leaving, they fire even more. Ah! That was aimed directly at me. He's aiming directly at me. He's aiming directly at me. Ah! He's shooting directly at me. Why are you shooting at me? Why are you shooting at me? Why are you shooting at me? There's a flashbang there. Watch out. He is still shooting.
And so why am I saying all of this? The world is changing. There are certain places in the world that are safer to be in. And I would advise you to find those safer places, because when all hell breaks loose, which it will, especially in the West, things are a little bit lulled down and calm at the moment. But when the chaos breaks loose, you will find that there are sanctuary places, especially on this continent of Africa, which is huge and has many countries. You're going to find there will be peace in many of these places. Bless you. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Intelligence Report. Again, like and subscribe, and we will catch you again soon. Bye for now.